What is going on, Omi homies and Omets? Welcome to the stream. And this one we'll be talking about quite a bit. It's just an AMA, really talking about the macro of the NFT space. Will the VeVe defeat OpenSea? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it. I've been obviously putting out a lot of threads, and really over the past couple of years, been trying to bring up the royalty topic. And there's been a lot of discussion around it lately. You know, I've been in the spaces talking about it as well. Platforms, even OpenSea, developed royalty contracts, also limit break with their royalty contracts as well. But that's kind of like a band-aid solution, given that there's like lots of NFT marketplaces, including VeVe being one of those, more the branded experience. So lots to talk or get into today. Again, this is just mainly a talking head stream, and just wanted to really hang out today. So be sure to share this to your Twitter feeds and all that good stuff. Thank you for everybody for joining in today. We have F Pace, Aurora Limited, UK, Bullish, All Chat Gaming. Yo, what's going on, man? Bullish. Omar says yes, and I believe that too. So really lots to get into, and just kind of like, hey, what's going on with you guys today in the NFT world. So let me know what you guys are dabbling in as well. Very curious. Are you using platforms like Blur? Are you using, other places? What are you guys doing today? Are you looking at Sandbox? Are you looking at other platforms? I'm very curious to see and to know what everybody's thinking. Obviously we talk about VeVe a lot on the channel, but I definitely want to mix it up and tell you guys what I've been looking at in the macro. So let's go ahead and just go over to my screen here, and I'll share exactly kind of what I've been looking at. All right, so I guess first things first, let me turn off that little extra camera there. There we go. So we are looking at the Sandbox. So the Sandbox to me is very interesting, just because, again, this is one of the OG metaverses, one of the most well-known metaverses, obviously, in Web3. So I've been taking a look at it as of late, for example, and of course we'll get back into the VeVe topics, but this is what I've been kind of doing on the side, just hanging out and chilling in Web3, exploring what else is out there. And of course, obviously, Sandbox has been out there for a long time, but I always find this interesting, just because I've been seeing more movement around this platform as of late. They're partnering with more and more platforms and IP and brands and things like that. They're bringing it into the Sandbox. So for that reason, I find it pretty interesting. So we'll go ahead and like dive into all of that. Actually, I guess I'll just leave that there. Let's see here. We have Don Juan Solo. Hi, I'm only active on VeVe. Yeah. There's a lot of the audience here on the channel here. A lot of people active only in VeVe. Let me take this guy off too, if I can find him. There we go. Get rid of all those bugs here in the stream. No big deal. Doing it kind of live. Forgot to check here. There we go. All right. So yeah, Paris again, VeVe. Yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. But Paris, for example, she's doing a Paris land. I think this is like a dating type of thing. But she's doing a reality show around this, where it's kind of like Bachelorette-ish. I guess people are going to get married there. I really don't know, honestly. It's just very interesting. They've done a lot around Valentine's Day. February festival here. You even have like other events going on, like this right here, Rabbids. This is a partnership between Sandbox and Ubisoft, so you can actually play games inside of Sandbox. So we can roll up the we can actually demonstrate Sandbox here in just a minute, just for fun, just so you guys can wrap your heads around the macro, what's going on. You can win mystery boxes and all kinds of cool stuff going on in the Sandbox. Again, this is one of those OG metaverses, and this is cool. I'll spend a little bit more time here. You can see there's tons of different stuff to kind of do now. Like you can see here the events. There's a lot of different events going on, and they do have, I believe, like a big concert coming up, I believe, as well. So very interesting to see, basically to see. We can go in and kind of look at, for instance, we'll just do this one for fun. I'll show you guys my avatar as well. You can see my little avatar here up here in the corner. Again, I seeing some more and more movement around the Sandbox, and they partnered up with I believe there's a brand, I think it's, I believe, a Japanese based brand that is, is responsible for like Dragon Ball Z. That's also partnered up, I believe, with the Sandbox as well. Don't quote me exactly on that, but in a nutshell, I mean, there's a lot here. You can even see there's like the Legend of the Sword and Fairy, so some cool games in this metaverse. But for example, we'll just kind of hop in here in the Sandbox and kind of show you guys what's going on here. But before we do, while I got that loading here off to the side, let me know what you guys are up to. Paris Land, hi, I'm only active in VeVe. Energy says, peace. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I mean, a lot to get into, right? The royalty situation. I think this is not going to play out anytime soon. Like it'll probably be over an extended period of time, how these marketplaces really battle out against each other. Let me see. Can you guys, I don't know if you guys can hear the Sandbox, so let me plug the audio directly here into the stream so you guys can hear it as well. All right. So here we are. We're going to wait for this thing to boot up. But yeah, essentially, I think this will take a few years to pan out. Obviously, there's a big silver lining with VeVe having all the licenses. And they are a walled garden, so they do have an advantage there. So there's a silver lining. Now, incidentally, I don't think that's like this was meant to like. I mean, obviously, VeVe did their due diligence and the work involved in getting the licenses and securing all this and having that kind of closed ecosystem. So credit to them for doing that due diligence. It did play out in VeVe's favor. I don't know if that was meant to be the case, but yeah, these marketplaces are obviously battling it out for market share. And a lot of things around it. I mean, I think it's still a ways out before there's going to be like a dominant winner. Blur's obviously taking a lot of market share. I tweeted this morning that they passed OpenSea as well. So yeah, as you can see, my cool little guy here, and you can see people chatting, proximity chat, things like that. Just these people kind of like, I can block, I can punch. This is Paris Land, by the way. We're just goofing off in Sandbox, just showing you guys what's kind of going on here. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of movement here. Here's my guy with his cool glasses. A little cool emoji looking guy. I know a lot of people are like totally into A Kid Called Beast. But there's just a lot out there that have potential too. So A Kid Called Beast is just one project, and shout out to people who have one. Definitely probably paid off by now. I mean, that project went insane, which was a very cool project. But again, just trying to expose you guys to the wider macro space as well. There's other things out there. You can see here, there's Paris Hilton right there. Welcome to Paris Land. Now, I've already like did these like little tasks, so I'm not sure why it's asking me again, but there's like these little mini games you can play inside the Sandbox. So just to show you guys like what's going on here, like I have to deliver these like little suitcases here. That's what I've been kind of doing. It's just been messing around in the Sandbox in my spare time. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, and hopefully more VeVe people start playing around with this a little bit as well. I mean, it's just kind of cute fun. Again, Paris Hilton, one of the big celebrities in the Sandbox. Snoop Dogg's in the Sandbox, obviously. The Walking Dead, Smurfs. There's quite a bit of IP in the Sandbox here. So again, just kind of demonstrating how cool this kind of is, and you can actually earn sand in these games as well. So that's another cool aspect, is playing these games. You can earn cryptocurrency or AKA sand in this and some of these kind of mini games. So I hope VeVe kind of partners up. Hopefully we get some cool. I hope VeVe buys a land plot on Sandbox. I think that would be the kind of something really cool. I think the Sandbox is quite misunderstood because, you know, certain people thought that the quality of Sandbox wasn't on par with VeVe, which is fair, but at the same time, it's not meant to be, you know, on par. It's just meant to be fun. So that's what I see kind of in the Sandbox. But as you can see, kind of cool. Anyways, I just wanted to showcase that to you guys. We can exit out of this, exit the game on that. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to in terms of, you know, what I've been kind of exploring and doing in the macro and NFTs. And I've also been doing like NFT collecting in terms of like Web3 games as well. So avatars, Web3 games, possible airdrops. You know, if you're in my Discord, you know, some of that alpha I've been giving you guys completely for free. Haven't charged a dime for the alpha. If you're in the Discord, you know what's up. Super VBK, for instance, he was able to get a free Digidaigaku NFT that was worth like $800 or $900. He minted it completely for free at its peak. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that kind of thing. Just, you know, Web3 gaming, a lot of Web3 games, and looking for undervalued assets in the macro in my spare time in terms of what I've been up to. Again, yo, what's going on, Caro? What's going on? Whoa, yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? And again, going back to the VeVe situation, I think OpenSea, they could rebuttal. They could do, you know, some different things. They could, I don't know. They said they're going to IPO back in like 2021. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they have to get approval. Who knows what's going on in OpenSea. The cool thing about VeVe is that they have an underlying asset or token, obviously the OMI token, and OpenSea currently does not. So that's another advantage to VeVe. Now they're two different, like, it's not the same bird, you know, it's two different birds. And it's kind of, they're tackling two different markets, right? You have the OpenSea, where it's a lot of independent creators and a lot of things like that, versus, you know, VeVe, which is highly curated, obviously brands, IP. So kind of two different things here. So again, we could still see platforms like Blur disrupt the space and take a lot of market share. Again, I just tweeted that Blur surpassed OpenSea in volume. So that's something we'll have to continue to monitor. I mean, they still have an increased amount of market share, and they're taking a lot away from OpenSea. So as the war kind of rages on, that does leave VeVe with kind of its own niche that they can dominate in. And somebody brought up IMX. You know, IMX, they're obviously enforcing royalties, and they kind of got into this debate last year, or not in debate, but they've dipped their toe in this whole issue last year. Again, this is something I've been monitoring for a while. This isn't like my first, you know, because of the news, you know, the news cycle. This is something I've been watching on the sideline for a long time. And again, you know, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But IMX, they're doing royalty enforcement, and I guess the community can govern like what whitelisted marketplaces that users can essentially bridge their NFTs to from the layer 2 Immutable X. That's going to be also interesting to see how that plays out. Now, again, VeVe does have, even though they're on IMX and IMX is still doing royalty enforcement, VeVe already has, you know, the licenses. They already have the walled garden, and they already have royalty enforcement already underway. Like, so in terms of brands, like, it is kind of a no-brainer to stay on VeVe at this time. Just seeing the macro. I mean, I'm being honest. I know like a lot of Web3 maxis and a lot of Web3 degens, even myself, you know, that's not, sometimes you don't want to hear that some of the assets and NFTs on VeVe aren't going to be interoperable for a while, but that's actually what might happen due to the situation with what's going on with Blur and OpenSea. So even though IMX was going to be on OpenSea and integrations, you know, we can pull up tweets from like 2021 about how IMX was going to integrate fully with OpenSea. I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore, honestly. So we'll see how this plays out. Maybe they still are being integrated in. There's still a lot of marketplaces like OpenSea that have integrated other blockchains like Solana, Polygon. So who knows? They could definitely still integrate IMX. So I'm not saying that they're not going to do that, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, we're so early. I know that's like a cliche thing to say, but it goes to show like we're in the wild, wild west of NFT marketplaces right now. And in terms of like the advantage going to brands and brands being listed on a certain marketplace, VeVe definitely has a silver lining and definitely a kind of it's definitely got an advantage for sure. Just being so early to the licenses and the walled garden aspect of it. So it's kind of in the best interest to some of these brands maybe to stay on VeVe, because now they got to be asking themselves like, well, what if I'm not going to get royalties? Now, Quid did chime in on this issue too, which I found very interesting. The CEO of Quid said that, royalties are obviously important, and he kind of said the obvious thing. But yeah, like royalties are important. So there's a lot of issues here. Even Yatsu of Animoca Brands, one of the largest VCs and firms in the entire Web3 space, chimed in, which obviously, if you don't know who Yatsu is by now, you definitely need to know. He's like, if you're into VeVe, he's like the David Yu of Web3 in a sense that he is the founder of Animoca Brands, and he weighed in on this issue. We talked about this a little bit on Paul Barron's channel, but he was just saying it's not a technical issue, meaning like you can't necessarily control royalties at a, marketplace level, but it's really going to come down to a community. I forget what the exact wordage, but it was like a community enforcement type of scenario where the community is going to have to enforce it. And maybe he's partially right there, considering like, seeing what happened with Blur, the NFT community using Blur and kind of saying no to OpenSea and what they've kind of done to creators and things like that. What's going on, Duck and Cover? What's going on, man? So there is a lot to dissect here. And I don't think this is going to just disappear overnight. It's not going to resolve itself in a month or 2 months. Again, I think this plays out like in a macro sense of like over the next year or 2 or 3, or maybe even more. I mean, this definitely has to weed itself out. People are still putting out smart contracts that have like royalty enforcement, quote unquote. But does it really? Because if marketplaces are like controlling where you can drop or list your NFTs, then it becomes problematic, right? And so there's really not like a straightforward solution, except where you have a platform like VeVe. That's really the only exception. But now the problem with I will say the problem with that though is that VeVe is so highly curated that not everybody's going to be like most people, like 99% of people aren't going to be able to list on the marketplace like VeVe to continue to get royalties, right? So that's kind of like what I'm thinking in terms of how this plays out. Like it's so early, kind of hard to tell, but here's Blur. If you haven't actually been on Blur and haven't actually seen it, it is an interesting platform. It is very, very sleek, I will say. So we can kind of look at the, let me see if I can go back here. Let me connect my MetaMask real quick, make sure we're all Gucci. And I'll flip back to Blur if you haven't seen it yet. Okay, so Blur, very sleek UI, and a lot of people are throwing, not a lot of people, just a couple of people on Twitter, as I mentioned, that they passed OpenSea, kind of got a little salty and were saying that there's been wash trading. But just to play a devil's advocate here, wouldn't there be a wash trading on OpenSea as well? So I don't necessarily believe in the wash trading theory. They did incentivize users via an airdrop. So they airdropped users who are using Blur tokens, and it incentivized users to use Blur. And why this is important is because at least users at a minimum get something. They get a token versus not getting anything, and they have they have less fees to pay over here on Blur. So that's another thing too. Again, as you can see, some of these look stolen. So like some of these Bored Apes, It says this item cannot be sold on OpenSea, as you can kind of see right there. That means it might be stolen. So again, there's another one. So Blur has this feature built in. You can list your NFT on here, but at the same time, it'll show you that this can't be sold on OpenSea. That's another interesting thing. But again, with VeVe, it's highly curated, so you can't necessarily see stolen NFTs. And as a matter of fact, nowadays it's hard to steal NFTs in the VeVe ecosystem, right? I mean, back then it happened from people's accounts getting hacked, but they resolved that issue, put two-factor authentication on the platform, and they can resolve that issue if somebody does get their NFT stolen and things like that. So another key differences here, and then with Blur, you can see the different rankings here. This one's ranked 8,000 versus this one's ranked 5,900. So if you're looking for rarity, you can look at some of these different rarity. You can see top 50% of this collection. So it's ranked 3,184. Whereas the lower number means it's more rare, and the higher number obviously means it's less rare. You can see there again, top 50% royalty. So that's Blur in a nutshell. It's got other cool features, like you can see all this like sales data, and you can do all kinds of due diligence. Now, this would be nice. This is something I was pitching VeVe early on, at least one of their old advisors. He would routinely join Discord in terms of the Discord stage. And while we're doing kind of like those, voice chats or whatever, he would join quite a bit. And this was one of the features I was pushing VeVe to integrate into their marketplace, is data just like this. And so very early on, I recognized that platforms like Blur were going to disrupt the space. And that's why I heavily promoted, and I don't say promoted, I just showed you guys. I didn't even promote it. I didn't get paid for it. Why I showed you guys Ecomi Wiki so early on, because that was something I was waiting on for a long time in the VeVe community. Only the Clown obviously developed that one. And then you have Cherry Charts with his platform as well. Excellent platforms, both. Like if you're serious about VeVe, you have to be on both of those platforms. To me, in my opinion, I use both. Cherry Charts is very good at a lot of different things, and Ecomi Wiki obviously is the OG chart platform, has some upgraded features as well. So again, these features are important to users, so don't discount how this could play out with VeVe in terms of what we're seeing on these like data aggregator type of websites, right? There could be money there. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the VeVe world, or VeVe lists some of these features in their app. I think they should. I think they should have a pro side of the app, and then I think they should have like the basic, right? And maybe you have to pay extra for pro. So maybe that's something they could integrate in the future. Like if you're staking OUP, then it unlocks the pro feature. So, if you're staking at least 1K, you get the pro features unlocked. So that's something that I've recommended before. And I don't know if it ever got heard or passed up in the VeVe community or the OMI team, but maybe I'll pitch them again on that. But I think that would be great. I think that would be a great idea if they implemented something like that with OUP in terms of these trading features and things like that. Now, will VeVe beat OpenSea? Again, two different marketplaces, two different ecosystems. Blur's technically already doing this, already beating OpenSea as of yesterday. And it is kind of too early to really say who's going to win this outright. And again, when Amazon steps in the space, let's go to Amazon. So let me look up the Amazon FAQ area about NFTs. So we're going to talk a little bit about this too, is the Amazon spiel. All right, let me zoom in so we can all see this. Now, this is coming from AWS, Amazon's, AWS side of their website here. So it says non-fungible tokens. We've seen this quite a bit. Like a lot of content creators at this point have covered it already. Even the macro. I mean, I think after this article was like, or this FAQ was kind of like released, I think that's like the macro NFT space took VeVe and IMX a little bit more serious and added a lended IMX and VeVe a little bit more credibility because they actually mention Disney in this FAQ. So you can see here, Disney that has brought huge brands of licensed universes like Star Wars and Marvel, talking specifically about digital collectibles. So you can see here, digital collectibles right there. Obviously, they're talking about VeVe. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer that they're talking about VeVe there. And if you don't like necessarily believe that, you can see in this like FAQ they mentioned immutable X. So at the very end of this FAQ, it says that the energy efficiency proof of stake consensus mechanism in its Ethereum 2.0 launch and layer 2 solutions like Polygon and Immutable X are already helping reduce the load today. So even Amazon recognizes layer 2s like specifically Polygon and Immutable X. That's kind of a big deal. And the reason being is those two, Polygon and Immutable X, are very good at what they're niching down into, which is games and Web3 brands. And there's other layer 2s out there like Arbitrum, which is, in my opinion, a really good one. Arbitrum and Optimism, really good layer 2s, but they're not necessarily specializing in kind of like the top tier, like AAA brands and games. And maybe they do eventually, but Polygon and Immutable X kind of in the lead here in that kind of sense, if you will. Not to discredit like Arbitrum or Optimism, because I think those two have significant use case, and we'll see those like really. I mean, they already have like they're like surpassing Ethereum mainnet for like transactions. So definitely not something to ignore by any means. But this article kind of shows you like what is to come of what Amazon's kind of thinking in terms of NFTs. They could integrate, VeVe right into a storefront in terms of what we've already seen on eBay. eBay's already done this. So eBay, they've already they already like have stores and like there's sellers and things like that. They already have which is an NFT platform. I've shown this before long ago in terms of like branded experiences here, which is kind of a platform based around like music and branded experiences like that. You can meet your own, like, for instance, you have Sports Illustrated. So they have athletes here, some kind of like NFT collectibles, like if you're really into that. And they do a lot of music stuff as well, and athletes, but where you can kind of maybe meet them in person and in real life. So they're really about experiences and in real life utility, especially around fandoms and things like that. They're integrated with eBay. So again, VeVe could easily integrate with some of these like other platforms to this sense. And we've talked about this on Paul Barron's channel, where eBay's already doing this. They have the eBay Vault. So, as a matter of fact, eBay liked my tweet when I shared my eBay Vault video. They actually liked it. They know I'm in Web3. I mean, they had to see my Twitter and see that I'm like heavily involved in Web3. And they even replied back. I said, thanks, basically messaged them like, thank you. They responded back to me. So they were like, yeah, if you have any questions at all, like, don't feel free to send us a DM or whatever. So, yeah, this is where I think the future is going. These platforms obviously have deals and deals with these music artists and creators and things like that. Now, this platform, it uses 2 blockchains. All right, so this is why I keep saying, could VeVe integrate Polygon? I think so. They already have Polygon. They already have an OMI Polygon. So it's like a synthetic, or not like a synthetic, but it's like a OMI based, OMI based on Polygon. That's really all it is. But this platform uses Tezos and Polygon. Tezos is an old blockchain, by the way. They've been around for a long time. And a lot of people are finally figuring out about them with the rise of NFTs this past couple of years. So I could see VeVe implementing multiple blockchains. So maybe brands rather be dropped on Polygon for whatever, like maybe a Starbucks, for example. Maybe they want to partner up with VeVe, but they say like, hey, we'd love to drop our NFTs on Polygon. And VeVe was like, yeah, we have Polygon. Actually, we have an integration. So now, obviously, that hasn't happened yet, but I'm just saying that could happen, right? The reason why I say that is because VeVe, VeVe in an AMA, on Lori's AMA, Queen VeVe, she had David Yuan, the co-founder of VeVe, and he said, like, we're not bound by a single blockchain. We're not a blockchain company. We're a collecting app that uses blockchain technology. So he basically said right there, like, they could, in my opinion, this is how I took it, that they could implement another blockchain. And I think they will. I think long term, I think this is just going to happen. And people don't really understand that if you're not into crypto. I got a lot of like comments on that. They're like, what, are you just going to make the IMX OMI useless? I'm like, no, because it's that OMI is just multi-chain. You just bridge it back and forth, right? So it's kind of simple. But I guess if you're not into crypto like heavily, you wouldn't know that. But for new people, maybe they don't know that. That it would just work seamlessly. So like Polygon, for example, they have a Polygon bridge. You can already like bridge Ethereum back and forth. You can already do this on OpenSea and a lot of different platforms. You can see Polygon bridge right here. So I could literally bridge my from the Ethereum chain, my ETH, or I could pick a token. So like, say if I wanted OMI tokens right here. So if I looked up OMI, which OMI is not on here right now. OMI token. So there's wrapped OMI right there. So verified list, OMI, bridge tokens. You can kind of see there. It's kind of not a very good UI in terms of using OMI, but you get the idea. You can see here OMI to Polygon chain. And then I could transfer, like if I had some, if I had OMI in that wallet, I could just transfer it to the Polygon chain. That's all you have to do, right? I mean, don't follow this exact, because this could be the wrong. So you want to be sure you transfer like a verified token, or check the token address before you send it. Or you could just look up the address on like CoinGecko, for example, and just type in OMI and just come over here. Get the contract address, copy that. This little guy right here, contract. You just copy it with this little copy and paste right here. And then I can come up back over here and just type in the address. Boom, verified token. And we're good to go. Bada bing, bada boom. It's really that easy. So yeah, that's how easy VeVe could implement a blockchain and make OMI useful across many blockchains, right? eBay needs some competitive, to be honest. Yeah. So eBay's really good with the collectible market. So they've been around, obviously. Like, for instance, we have collectors in the VeVe community that have eBay stores, and they promote them all the time. And so eBay's really good at the collector niche and genre. So I think they'll stick with the bread and butter there. They have already partnered up with OneOf, which is a kind of a digital collectibles platform already. I see them just doing really well in the space. Now, Amazon obviously could disrupt a lot. I don't think eBay is just gonna like compete directly with Amazon. Amazon's just too big. Like, everybody, like, Amazon Prime just changed the game for like society as a whole, especially American society. Like, people use Amazon Prime almost every other day or every day, in some cases. So it's going to be hard for eBay to compete directly like that. But I do think eBay could, definitely still bolster their collectible, what they're already good at, right? They're already good at collectibles on their platform. So yeah, that's what I kind of see playing out here. Again, Amazon, they're expected to make an announcement or do something this spring. So we'll see. Again, I think they'll have to roll out some sort of like marketplace-ish, like kind of what eBay was doing already, before they just like say, hey, we're gonna like launch a Web3 game, for example, because you need a marketplace before you launch something like that. unless they partner up with another marketplace, which I don't necessarily see Amazon doing, because it's Amazon. They just build their own stuff most of the time, or they just outright buy something, right? So what if VeVe got bought out by Amazon? That would be actually insane. Now, I don't know if that would happen. I don't know if David Yu or Dan Crowthers would sell VeVe. What's your thoughts, chat? If VeVe sold to Amazon, what would you do? Would you be more bearish or bullish? So I'm going to put up a quick poll. Now, obviously, this is complete speculation, so nobody's saying VeVe is going to sell. All right, we're going to throw this poll up here. We'll leave it up for a second. If VeVe sold to Amazon, would that make you bullish or bearish? All right. So let me know what your we have somebody already voting bearish. Let's see. Now it's coming in like 50-50, bearish, 67%. The bears are winning. I'm curious why. So why would that make you bearish? So for people voting on bearish, what's your thoughts? Like, I'm curious, why would that make you bearish? Very curious. Genuinely, like, wondering what your thought process is with that. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I just want to know, like, the thought process. What's your, reasonings why that would make you bearish? Blockchain comics with the bear. So blockchain comics, what would be your, like, kind of number one reason why that would make you bearish? Is it because you're afraid what Amazon could kind of, like, do with VeVe and, like, make it not as cool? Like, what's your thought process behind that? I'm very curious. Amazon won't forget to sign exchange. That's actually pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Amazon wouldn't forget the DocuSign because they pretty much will just, like, own a DocuSign company. Amazon ruined Twitch's community focus and push monetization for themselves instead. Amazon is a terrible pairing. So that's a good one right there. And I'm not disagreeing or agreeing. That's a good one. All right. Because I think they did kind of ruin Twitch. All right. And listen, I've been streaming to Twitch on Neo Tokyo's Twitch. It's still good for gaming. It's still good. It's just that they have try to squeeze the profit out a little too much, and it has forced the gaming community kind of in a negative, like, it's just been kind of negative because it forces streamers to stream longer. You have to do certain things to squeeze a buck. And for most streamers don't make it. All right. That's just the cold hard facts is most streamers just don't make it. And for example, like I've been streaming, like if I was just streaming full time, I've been streaming for about 40 minutes. I have 0 donos that have came in, 0 donations. So that is not really feasible, right? And that's literally, and I have like 10,000 plus subscribers on my channel. And so you have to have significant amount of followers on Twitch if you're going to be streaming games. And then you got to kind of compete with one another. So like if multiple people are streaming games all the time, which they are on Twitch, you have to compete against each other. So anyways, it's a long kind of story. But again, Amazon buying out Twitch, was that good for Twitch? The history is kind of showing, the data is kind of showing not so much. So I could definitely see why that would, why that makes sense. All right. So, but we're still 50-50. All right. Here's my opinion. Now that we've got that out of the way, I think I would actually be a little, so All Chat Gaming says bull. I would have to kind of agree on more on the bullish side. Now I would be like somewhere in the middle, right? But a little bit leaned towards bull. And the main reason being why is because Amazon is already a marketplace. That's where their bread and butter comes from. They're already an e-commerce marketplace. This is their bread and butter, and that's why I think that's why I think they'll do a marketplace first, because they're already good at it. And I think moving to digital to them is a no-brainer. They have I mean, they are the dominant force when it comes to cloud compute and data and marketplace. So I think that they could disrupt the space in a major way. All Chat Gaming, thanks for the dono, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That made my day. Yeah, I like the maracas too. Appreciate it. So my thoughts on that again, the Amazon's already good at marketplaces. This is right down their alley. Now, if it was like a Twitch, I could definitely, I would be like more on the bearish side. But since it has to do with marketplaces, I think they'll do fine here. That's just my opinion. All right, so I'm curious to see. We're still seeing bullish come in. The bulls have it, I think, here. It's been about 5 minutes, 17 votes, and the bulls kind of leading here with 71%, above bears at 29%. So yeah, again, I'm leaning more on the bull side as well on this issue. I'm not bullish on big Web 2 companies trying to do Web 3. Good chat. Appreciate the live stream. Hey, Pixel Trader, thank you, man. Hey, thanks for joining. I appreciate you. Blockchain Comics, I'm not bullish on big Web 2 companies trying to do Web 3. I would normally agree, but again, we're talking about Amazon, so a completely different tech company altogether. We got to remember, Amazon took Web 1, turned it into Web 2, disrupted the entire like book genre, and now e-com, obviously e-com. Then they took over cloud compute, which in itself is almost like dang near, it's close to Web 3, like cloud computing. The way that they're able to scale computing. Like if you know AWS, you know how insane that technology is, how they're able to just spin up, like they can basically scale up, let's say like a website like pets.com does a Super Bowl commercial and they're expecting like 1 million people to come and click on their website. They could just use Amazon Web Services, and instead of buying a bunch of like data and extra storage space that maybe they don't get that amount of traffic, but if they do, they can just use Amazon Cloud Compute to like infinite, if I can say the word, infinitely scale that traffic and data on the back end using Amazon Cloud Compute. So it's like a smart way to scale your website, or maybe you have an app, or maybe you have some sort of data processing that you need to be scaled at a moment's notice, or a huge influx of traffic, so you can't really get DDoSed or whatever. It's insane how they've developed this technology so quickly. And you got to remember they've competed with Google, Microsoft, some of the titans in cloud compute or computing. So I don't know, man. This is one of those things where I look at it and I'm like, they're already working with Avalanche, which is a blockchain, AVAX, and they provide the developers of AVAX blockchain to spin up test nodes at any moment's notice to test their different applications over there. Google's also doing some cloud compute stuff with blockchains now. They just announced that they're providing support to, it was just this morning that I saw this news that they're providing support to, let's see if I can look up the likes on my feed. All right, so Google continues its blockchain integration, becoming a validator on the Tezos network. So again, Google and Amazon getting into Web3, getting into NFTs, getting into, Tezos does a lot of NFTs. So, man, I don't know. Like, again, Amazon just so innovative. I don't know if they I haven't seen them lose their innovative edge. And even Bezos himself, like he stepped kind of away to like launch rockets into space to compete against SpaceX, and they actually do have a really good rocket. Like if you study like the different rockets out there against SpaceX, like Blue Origin, I think is what it's called. They have fantastic rockets. I mean, they're not that far behind SpaceX. So again, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but I just don't think Amazon has lost that innovative edge yet compared to like a normal Web 2 getting into Web 3, like maybe Starbucks, for example. And it's too early for Starbucks to even say really too, but we've seen Web 2 companies definitely biff it though in Web 3. Like they've launched horribly like Porsche. But again, they're not like a tech company. Apple kind of had a rough start. We've seen Apple. That's one company we could question because, you know, Tim Cook, he's not Steve Jobs. Have they lost the innovative edge? Some people have already argued that. I'm not going to debate it. I don't know. They haven't really said much about Web3. They've said like, hey, we'll support the apps as long as you pay your fee. But that's really all we've heard from Apple. So maybe they're in stealth mode about some things. I don't know. Have they lost the innovative edge there? They're developing their AR, VR mixed reality headset. So excited about that. I think they'll allow Web3 apps, again, as long as you're paying the toll fee to kind of generate sales and fees and all that good stuff. And you're paying Apple, they'll be fine with it. I don't know. We'll see. Apple's like still a big question mark in my head, you know, on what they could do. Got a scoot. Cheers for the long stream, man. Always interesting. Loving the work with Paul Barron, by the way. Hey, Duck and Cover, appreciate you. Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you for having you in here. We got 45, almost 50 Omi homies and Red Circle Army in his house today. How's the video quality coming in? Are we coming in clear, crystal clear? How's the audio? How's the video? Very curious. I've been changing settings around. Let's see. The current stream is higher than recommended. So yeah, my bit rate, I jacked up. I don't know if Google can, or I don't know if YouTube can handle my bit rate. I'm streaming at like freaking high speed. I'm streaming like the Matrix in here. Von Doom, why would VeVe sell to Amazon? They will integrate across white label their marketplace and to any and all. Whoops. It's a good question, right? It's a good question. We can end this poll. Actually, it's been like 11 minutes, so more people would be bullish on it. Very interesting. Very curious what people's thoughts are. All right, I'm putting up another poll here. All right, if VeVe integrates Polygon, would that make you more bearish or bullish? So it's there in the chat. There. Sorry, Von Doom. Sorry, Planet Vampire. My bot is going crazy. It says, please refrain from sending along messages. Sorry, Van. Just if you have a long message, just do like 2 sentences and like enter those in separately. I got to fix the bot, so sorry about that. Planet Vampire says, I'd like to see Ecomi acquire Jazzwares. Ooh, that's Uncle Jay. That's Uncle Jeremy's company. Or merge in some way. VeVe did 1.2 billion in revenue during the bull run, and Jazzwares apparently does in the 300 million range, according to Google search. That could be an interesting one. I think VeVe would need way more cash on hand, but I could see them partnering. I think that'd be great. I think that would be a very fun, very beneficial partnership. I think that would be a good one. Von Doom, they will integrate with Amazon, eBay, Walmart. They will white label their app to brands that would like to have their own app stores, and they will be interoperable with large brand stores. I agree. Von Doom, hitting it on the head. I agree with that. Haha, you guys got in trouble. Says all chat gaming, insert swallow text. Yeah, sorry. YouTube's a Web 2 platform still. Although they did waive support for Web 3 and NFTs. So hopefully we'll be able to show off our PFPs. I don't know how they're going to do that in a safe way. The platform here on YouTube's kind of riddled with bots and kind of like the bad stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. Now, A good thing is that well, I say good. I don't know if it's good or bad, but their CEO stepped down, and the new CEO of YouTube is very pro NFT and blockchain, and is actually, I can't remember, he was like for something. I can't remember, but he's supposedly very for. He's for Web3 and NFTs. If you super chat, it'll work. Hey, that's a good point. If you super chat a long message, it'll probably go through. Berkshire purchased Jazzwares. That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. So PayPay is 100% with that. Berkshire purchasing Jazzwares. So VeVe would have to purchase it away from Berkshire, which I don't know if Berkshire is going to be willing to sell Jazzwares anytime soon, but I have a feeling that they might be wanting to partner with VeVe. Again, there's still a lot of adoption happening in Web3 and NFTs. I heard Apple was going to have to open its ecosystem in Europe in 2023. Is that relevant to VeVe situation? That's interesting. I think that is their app store, right? I don't know. I mean, Europe is kind of one of those scenarios where tech companies are getting themselves into trouble because they have kind of overreached in terms of what they can do. Europe doesn't like it. They feel that it's, a little bit of a monopoly on some, in certain aspects. Europe's also really like pro data protection, so protecting the end consumer for your data. Google's kind of lost some core battles over there in Europe, and Apple. I think there's been some cases over there. I'm not really sure on Apple, but yeah, I mean, we could see a little bit more pro app development in Europe, maybe in terms of Apple. But man, Apple's got a firm grip on that app store, man. It is so firm that I don't know how that's going to play out. I know Apple's got a very solid legal team, that's for sure. I like Apple's products. It's just the app store. I feel, I think they need to be, it should be case by case basis. VeVe selling to big tech would not be that crazy. Every tech startup dream is to create $1 billion valuation, unicorn status, and sell it. Dan would 100% sell, but for David, it's passion project. It says blockchain comics. So that was what the bot, censored. So sorry about that again. I'm not sure why it said it's phishing link. It's not a phishing link. Anyways, blockchain comics. I agree. So people that are not familiar with tech or startups or unicorns, typically what happens is it's a dream if you're a startup to become like a unicorn status and to be like bought out by a major player in the space. That's what a lot of like Silicon Valley startups like dream. Like this is like they've actually made shows about this. What's your valuations? It's always a topic. And that's always a big thing. People always want to be bought out for sure, because that's kind of like a good exit strategy. If you want to be wealthy and not have to necessarily worry about running a company day to day, that's a good strategy. I mean, people do that all the time. Alex Becker, he's big in Web3. He's got like almost 1 million followers on Twitter. He does that all the time. He's developed like tech applications and tech platforms, and he sold them for millions of dollars. And he sold, I think his recent platform he sold, which is a data tracking company, for like 200 million or something crazy. So again, it's very common in the tech industry to have that happen, for sure. So could we see it from VeVe? It's a good, like you said, it could be 50-50. David, passion project versus Dan, which, for him, I would feel that he would want to sell out or at least raise like a significant amount of funding. But at the same time, it's like they did most of this from their own pockets. And so that also doesn't happen very often. So I have a feeling that they're both like have a sense of pride and a sense of passion about VeVe. So I think it'd be very very tough and difficult for them to both sell it for that reason. Now, most people have a price tag though. I mean, if Amazon was like, hey, here's like several million or billions of dollars or whatever the price tag is, then maybe they do. I don't know. They don't have to sell, but they're rich and already an OMI. They can make multi-billionaire. Yeah, that's another thing too. Both founders own a significant amount of OMI still. And I think it was Daniel Lee just did an update video on this. Like, it could OMI reach $1? Not likely anytime soon, but it could happen in the next, like, I don't know. I don't know what the timeline would be, right? Because 10 years out, like, anything could happen in 10 years. What if NFTs become a vital integration in day-to-day life? Like, what if people, like, instead of buying this, like, can, maybe it's associated with, like, an NFT. Some companies already do that. So again, we just don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. I know that's, like, it's too broad of a statement. But yeah, there's blockchains like VeChain that kind of aim to disrupt commerce by associating products with a kind of like an NFT. It's like an ID that helps you track where this can came from, the source. So by the time it reaches the end consumer, it's verified. You know exactly where it came from. And I could say, like, I'm drinking an authentic, you know, energy drink from this company. You know, that's more of a high end kind of problem to solve, like around wine, for example. So I know I'm drinking like the bougie, like expensive wine. And you can, like, know exactly where it's bottled at the source. So that's another, like, cool disruption that we could see play out in the next, like, 5 or 10 years. I think some companies are already using that. So I don't know. It could be interesting. I mean, we'll only reach $1, probably not soon. Not anytime soon. Like, obviously, I was really conservative with my numbers. I've always been, and I'm kind of proud of that. I've never said that OMI could reach ridiculous prices in the short term. So VeChain says G Money. Yo, what's going on, G Money? Welcome in the house. Good to see you. Thanks for being a channel member, and All Chat Gaming as well. 2 channel members. If you're looking to join the Omi Homie Red Circle Army, you can join so for like $1 or $2. As a matter of fact, we might as well just do let me go and give away a channel membership. How about we do that live? So I think you have to enable channel memberships as well. So be sure you do that right now before you miss out on getting a free membership. I'm going to give one away right now. We're going to do that right now. So it's just going to appear in chat. You're going to have to be quick. You're going to have to do it fast. Here it comes. We're giving away free membership to you on the channel, and it's off. Boom. Let's see who's fast enough to get that. We've been giving away free memberships here on the channel. Very excited about that. I was like one of the first. Actually, I was the first. Did you guys know I was the first person in the VeVe community to announce a giveaway? And since then, I've been giving away all kinds of stuff here on the channel. Your local scalper, and that is perfect for your name, was gifted a membership. So congrats, your local scalper, for the free YouTube membership here on the channel. Joining the Red Circle Army. Welcome in. We're giving away stuff here on the channel all the time. You never know. You always have to be ready for it. You always have to be ready on the stream or in a video. You never know when we might give stuff away here on the stream. And as a matter of fact, for channel members that are here in the channel membership for over 12 months, you get a Kyle Punk. It's actually a VeVe Punk, and you get a free one of those, exclusive only to channel members until I run out. That's limited supply, but it is kind of like a badge of honor. Long term, this channel's definitely going to grow over the next, several years or whatever. You can kind of show your badge off, supporting the channel. And it's limited. It's limited. It's fun, right? It's just fun. So yeah, there's that. What else is in the news? Sandbox, I think, will be popping off. It's going to be interesting. I know that's something that's not necessarily VeVe related, but I think a lot of people are going to start paying attention more and more in terms of like these metaverses, like Sandbox. I think just because there's experiences, I could definitely see VeVe people getting excited about some of these brands coming to the Sandbox. Let's take a look at the map here. I know we talk about brands quite often. Let's take a look at these brands here. So we're talking about The Walking Dead. We're talking about Warner Music right here. Look at this, Warner Brothers, Warner Music Group. We're talking about Atari, some of these legacy brands. Look at Atari, they own a lot. Atari. Then we have Snoop Dogg. Look at Snoop Dogg. We got Steve Aoki, Smurfs. I mean, you can just scroll around here and see some of these like big names. A lot of blockchain names like Unstoppable Domains, Yield Guild, another huge, humongous guild in Web3. You can see Time Magazine. Look at this, Time. Again, look how the slots were barren when I first looked at Sandbox. Like there's like a lot, but then there wasn't like this many. So a lot of this, what I'm kind of looking at is a lot of this like people still buying land in the Sandbox, and it's very interesting to me. See here, when is it time to stack MCP points? Yeah, that's a good question. I think well, they're retroactive, so we know that. Look at CyberKongs, they have a big giant piece of land there. BitBoy, for those of you guys that like BitBoy. Binance has a huge plot. I mean, I think we continue to see more and more brands get into the Sandbox. And there's tons more that I just can't really see, just because these squares are like so tiny. So it's hard to see. You can see Galligans with their spider tanks that will have like fun experiences for their members in the Sandbox. Axie Infinity, Delta Time F1 right here. That's obviously a big brand name. And many more. FaZe Clan's in here somewhere. There's FaZe Clan, one of the biggest gaming gaming organizations in the world. I mean, just so much happening here. I think it's all going to come to a head this year. That's just my opinion. I think we'll see a lot of fun, like cool experiences and fun games in the Sandbox. And when you can earn crypto playing games, I think that's going to be huge. Even Quid is in the Sandbox. Quid, they did a NFT sticker drop that we thought they were just stickers. Turns out you can use these stickers in the Sandbox as avatars, which I find pretty interesting. I hope VeVe does something similar, because that would be very cool. And this is where all the people are going to be in crypto. Look at this, Care Bears. Again, it's just fun. Looks rare. I could go on. The list goes on here. I'm not trying to shield the Sandbox or anything, but just showing my like macro outlook on the space and what I see happening. Man, and if Dragon Ball Z comes into the Sandbox, I mean, that's going to be huge and fun. You got more game. You got like lots of games. Supdux is down here. Yeah, just a lot. There's just a lot. Zed Run, that's another huge game that popped off in Web3. Horse racing game that popped off. Let's see if we can find Super Yeti, the old OG. This was when VeVe started popping off. Super Yeti came out. There's some OGs in the VeVe community that know exactly what Super Yeti is. I've seen you guys buy some Super Yetis. So if you're an OG in VeVe, you know, you probably have a good idea what the Super Yetis are. I remember that one. That one popped off very early, around Bored Apes, like not too far after Bored Apes. Let's see. I'm kind of old when it comes to Web3, guys. I'm kind of old, especially outside of VeVe too. Yeah, the MCP points. So let's talk about that. MCP. No, the problem with Sandbox is so that I know that. So I know that too. And the reason why I'm talking about it just now, like I've done a couple of videos on Sandbox, not much for that reason. And I haven't necessarily been excited about it until kind of now. And the reason why is they're having more events. They're having A lot of these games that have been under development for a while, we could see them start releasing here in 2023. A lot of them haven't really launched, so that's why there's not a whole lot of daily active users. It's because there's really not a whole lot to do in Sandbox. There's some stuff to do, but I think it's going to all come to a head in 2023, maybe 2024 in the beginning of the year. But I think we'll see more and more stuff happening here in the Sandbox and more people hyping it up. Again, I could be wrong, but like, I don't know. When I get these feelings, I'm typically not wrong. I mean, what happened with VeVe, when I got excited about VeVe, I was like user 5,000 or less, and it popped off. And so I don't know, guys. I'm not. I don't know. I'm just. I have a feeling. By the way, the things that the avatar I was collecting, I'll give this alpha to you, and then I'll leave it at that. All right. I'll give you guys one last piece of alpha here. This avatar right here is, oops, he's breakdancing. They have a major plot in like the smack dab middle of the Sandbox. All right, that's the only alpha I'm going to give you. At least a partnership with them. And these guys are cheap. And I decided to pick up a couple of them. So I'll leave all the alpha with you right there. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see some of these like cool integrations. But yes, Master Collectors Program. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Like it's going to be launching, hopefully not in the not so distant future. We know it's the beta's kind of rolled out, like calculating points. It looks like a lot of whales got it. So apparently like a lot of VeVe whales got this like beta feature. I haven't seen too many people that have the beta. I don't even know if I've like have any beta access, period, which is weird. You'd think they would give like the content creators like beta access to everything so we could do proper videos on them. I literally have like beta access to like maybe one thing. And so I don't know. Maybe you'll have to log in on the web app. Now, it could be on the web app. That's why. If it's on the web app only, I haven't been on the web app in a while. And I don't necessarily check my emails. But it would be nice if they had like all these betas for content creators. It's just smart. It's easy marketing. All right, let me log in. And let me close out this poll. So bullish. If VeVe living aloha. Yo, thanks for the dono. Love your work, especially on Paul Barron. Congrats and keep up the good work. Hey, living aloha, man. Appreciate that. I am assuming you're in Hawaii, and if not, mahalo. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Or in Cherokee or Creek, Wado or Mado, which means the exact same thing as mahalo, which is indigenous. Shout out to the indigenous people out there. You know, we got to keep it real. All right, let's see here. 6-digit code sent to my VeVe email. Let's log into the web app and see if we got any beta stuff. I'll be sad. All right, logging in, confirm. Oh, it's gonna do the whole not log. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Oh, VeVe. It won't let me log in. Daggum. So this is why I don't use the web app, because I always have login issues. It won't let me log in. Dagnabbit. All right, well, maybe next time. We'll see. I have to like reset my password in order to log in, and I hate doing that. It takes like so much time. Yeah, on the mobile app, if it still doesn't show my MCP points, not that I would be a whale or anything. I mean, I have 31 sets. It's not like terrible, but it's also not like I'm not Dr. Rolex over here with like 200, 300 sets or anything like that. Yes, in Hawaii. Yeah, man. I bet it's so nice right now. I'm so jealous. I've been to Hawaii 2-3 times. So it's so freaking gorgeous. I want to go to what is it? Gosh, what is the chill island? It's like Like you can do, I mean, there's not much to do. It's not touristy technically. You just go on like bike rides and kind of like look around, hang out and just chill. I think it starts with a K. I can't remember the island name. Anyways, I've been to Maui, I've been to Oahu. I haven't been to the Big Island. Love to go to the Big Island too. Anyways, yeah, this is exactly why VeVe needs to focus and fix their base app. Yeah. I mean, come on, guys. Like, I know they got Mitch. I know they're working hard. We've seen a lot of like minor upgrades to the UI and UX, and some of the old collectibles got a little polish here and there. So the speed of the app has definitely, like, you know, scrolling like and things like that have gotten really good. Of course, I got a brand new iPhone like last year, but like you can kind of scroll up and down and things like that like pretty quickly, right, in the marketplace. Whereas before it would like lag. So I'm definitely happy on the progress they made on the speed and things loading in the app. And again, that could have just been my old phone, and I got a new one. But I would love to see them add more innovative features, man. For real. I mean, they have a monopoly on this brand, on the brands, on this branded experience in the branded marketplace, though. So, but again, look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna see my VeVe birthday. You can't see it. It says March 1st. And actually, I had the app downloaded on my phone, and I just didn't sign up till March 1st. So technically, my real VeVe birthday should have been like mid-February, if not the beginning of February. And my first purchase was going to be a reso. And my brother-in-law talked me out of that purchase because he's like, oh, I don't know, it's kind of expensive. And I was like, man, it kind of is. But I was like, in my gut, I knew I should have bought it. And I bought a Becky Cloonan, which was fine. But I guess goes to show you always listen to your gut, man. Always listen to your gut. I did buy 2 Todds at retail. I wish I would have bought more, like Silicon did. Kauai, yeah, that's the name of the island. Let's see here. Yeah, that's exactly. I would love to go to Kauai just to like bike around, just chill, hang out, not do anything. Just to get away from like city type stuff and like get away from people. I don't know. Yeah, just like chill. There's something about like Hawaii that's like feels like I'm getting like healed there. I don't know. Is that weird to say? Like it just feels like being on those islands. Like there's something like I don't know. When I swim around in the ocean and just chill, like maybe that's just because I needed that disconnect from daily everyday life or something like that. But I don't know. It just feels like something like just regenerative about just being there. I don't know. Love Hawaii, man. Love it. They send you email that you have beta access. I have crypto cash in beta. Yeah, I got like 1 or 2 beta things, but that was about it. I wish they would do direct beta to some of the, maybe at least the OGs. Like that would make sense, right? I'm like the golden age of content creators in VeVe or something like that, right? So it would be nice, but I also don't want to be like one of those entitled dudes that are like, oh, I need beta access. So anyways, that's why I haven't really said anything about it. Planet Vampire, nice. I am April 16th or 6th. Yeah, April. That's really early. Really, any, from February, well, obviously previous to February, but anywhere from like 2020 December all the way to like April, May. I don't know. Would you consider April the last like cutoff for like super OG status? Or I'm curious what everybody's thoughts are on that. Like, what would you consider like a cutoff for like super OG? Like, obviously, I think the app launched in like December of 2020. And then after that, it really started popping off in like, I don't know. It really popped off in March. I know Dan Carlers always says like January, but really it grew some, but like it really popped off. I feel like in March. I think March is I feel like is when it like doubled or tripled or something crazy, and then it just kept going and going and going. Like it just didn't stop. Um, yeah, I'm very curious. All right, well, cool. That is all I got for the stream. Very fun one, man. I wanted to do the stream for a while, just to hang out with everybody on stream, just talk and see what everybody's been up to. Is anybody doing anything other than VeVe? Again, I'll ask one last time before we tune out. I've been looking at Sandbox for fun. My fun hobby right now is to look at undervalued Web3 game NFTs and undervalued now kind of looking at undervalued Sandbox NFTs that I could see having some utility and some things like that. Like yeah, so I'll leave it at that. That's kind of what I've been up to. So I've been looking at like some mobile games. Mobile games I think will be big in Web3. Again, why would gamers play old games that you don't earn or have any type of like utility aspect to it, or you don't earn anything? When they could be earning something playing a Web3 game, or they could own their actual in-game assets. I think long run, mobile Web3 games are going to do really great. And I'm obviously still looking at like the AAA PC only Web3 games, but those are always a premium. And in my opinion, I think are kind of like, I don't know. It's like, what if that game doesn't do well? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like these AAA like PC only games could do. I mean, some of them could do well. Like Illuvium could do really well, I think, because it's like they have multiple things going on. They have a mobile game, they have the main game mode, and they have like the collecting side, which you open like blind boxes, which is kind of cool. So that's cool. I think that will be really good. But some games that are like AAA, that it's just a shooter, for example, I think that those could struggle because what if they're not fun, or like, I don't know. So those are the things I kind of worry about. Breaking news: SEC finds NBA Top Shots NFT securities. What? Lies. Don't lie to me. Don't you. We're going to look this up. What's your source on that? And I'll try to find it. NBA Top Shots. I'm not seeing any news. I'll search Twitter real quick. Oh, incoming wrecked city for NFTs. VeVe Digital Collectibles said. All right, let's pull this up. This is kind of breaking news. This comes from user DB, fastest moving market moving news and crypto sources, 246K followers, tier 10K. Breaking: a federal court just denied Dapper Labs' motion to dismiss a class action complaint alleging that NBA Top Shot moments are securities. On the most general terms, the court is asked to assess whether moments are like cardboard basketball cards, commodities, or more like crypto tokens. As the ICO cases reveal, tokens offered as part of the ICOs often bear the hallmarks of securities. Here's a close call, and the court's decision is narrow. If there's a defining line separating those offerings that are securities from those that are not, whether movements qualify toes the line intimately. Nevertheless, mindful of purposive nature of Howie, the court finds that the plaintiff's allegations under each consideration of Howie facially plausible and survive defendant motion to dismiss the alleged violation of sections 5, 12. So what in the I don't even know what to make of this. What? Let's see what they said. They're going to say what is happening. Yeah, this is pretty breaking news here. This is a Dropbox file, so it's a sketch. I shouldn't be clicking on Twitter links. People weighing in on it. SEC here, capture this dunk. Oh my gosh. This guy says, so far from the truth, dude. Please do not shill salacious headlines. The motion to dismiss was denied. The case is literally only just starting. Literally, plaintiffs just pleaded that the bare minimum to keep the case going forward. No evidence was even discovered or brought to court yet. Yeah, with cases like this, you got to be kind of like seeing where this plays out and what part, like where it's at in terms of the case itself. Yeah, so this one may be too early to tell, but that's going to be interesting. Let's type in NBA top shots. See if we have more people weighing in on this issue. This is pretty breaking news. This is a big one. Let's see. Breaking, yeah. So people are like linking to this court order or this MTD order, whatever that is. Appears Dapper's motion. Okay, so there's a little bit more to it, is what it looks like. Yeah, so Origin Protocol even weighed in on this. Interesting. Dapper Labs is facing client. Blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early to really say what's going on here. Very interesting, though. Very interesting. I think we'll have to see how this plays out. There could also be a court appeal. So even if this case like doesn't pan out in terms of NBA Top Shot's favor, which I mean, this federal judge, I don't know what he's doing. Is he boomer? I don't know. They could appeal to this case. I mean, there's a lot going on here. This is just the beginning, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Definitely something interesting to see how this plays out, though. Truth, it's all over the news. As he's crazy. Yeah, they are. That's one thing that they are. They're crazy. Gary Ginsburg, man, he let FTX happen on his watch, and now he's going over like honest NFT projects now. Like I just don't get it. I don't consider like what he's doing a win. I mean, he stopped Kraken staking, like that was rewarding users in a safe way for rewards, and now they can't do it in the U.S. and he might be going after all staking in the U.S. I just can't see this as healthy as for the financial stability in crypto in the U.S. I don't see it, especially when he just lets FTX run free and rampant. I'm not a big fan. It just means people are going to trial. I think this means that the court thinks there could be a case. This means nothing. Motion to dismiss are applicable. Another thing too is VeVe is not located in the U.S. I mean, it sold to U.S. users for sure on their platform in the app, but they're not. They're technically what Ukomi is Orbis Labs or whatever. It's based in Singapore. I don't know where NBA Top Shots is based at, so maybe there's something there. Oh, motions to dismiss. But yeah, the court case itself, though. The court case itself. I'm sure the SEC is concerned with what Kylie thinks. Vance leg. Yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm sure that they're concerned with what they're concerned with, right? I mean, they obviously have their own agenda at the end of the day. I mean, it's the SEC. They could change on a dime. Who knows? I love when streamers don't even read what you wrote. Does this guy have any education? Vance, we're just going to boot you from the stream, buddy. How about that? Let's get this guy out of here. Sounds like this guy's pro SEC. So, yeah, we'll get him out of here. He's probably pro suing everything, pro Gary Gensler. So, sounds like he's very pro and anti NFTs. So, let's get him out. Get him out of here. And for that reason, I'm out. VeVe hasn't done its IPO in the US. That's another thing too. Yeah, VeVe didn't do their IPO in the US. So yeah, another thing too. That's a good point, J Temp. Yeah, goodbye, Vance. Hope you have a good day. I guess that guy was pro SEC, pro Gary. I don't know. Maybe he was pro FTX ruining the market. Pro Kevin O'Leary probably too. Probably likes Mr. Sunshine, shilling FTT tokens to everybody after it collapsed like Bernie Madoff. So again, I don't know anything about the court case. We just literally brought it up live on stream. Listen, I'm not an expert at court cases or whatever. Literally just pulled it up live on stream. Do your own due diligence. This is not financial advice. I'm just like he said, I'm just a streamer, YouTuber, content creator that's been in the crypto blockchain space since 2017. And maybe I know something, maybe I don't. But yeah, I think VeVe will be fine. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the NBA Top Shots case. Who knows? We'll see. I think VeVe will be fine as well. But it is interesting. I think this is something we pay attention to a little bit more. There's like so many court cases going on right now. It's actually insane. Like Bored Ape Yacht Club. What's going on with them? Do they have the copyrights to their underlying images? Probably not. Due to it being generative. Like there's a lot of issues in Web3 going on. It's actually insane. Royalties is a big issue. Yeah. So. Man, what a crazy space to be in these days. It really is. So I don't know. We'll close it out with that. We've been streaming for a while now. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day. Appreciate it for the donos and living aloha. We had your local scalper scoop up the free membership, All Chat Gaming with the $10 dono as well. And shout out to all the other channel members, G Money, and the rest. So XRP, 250 million settlement incoming with the SEC. Yeah, then Library, I think, won their case as well. So Library was another big case. I believe they won. So that's another like pro crypto win. Great video on Paul's network. Hey, My Collectibles joining in. What's going on, man? We got to have you on the channel sometime. We got to pick your brain, man. You're too busy picking other people's brains. Why don't we pick your brain and see what you've been up to? I just found out like recently you owned a collectible shop. So again, that's cool stuff, man. I didn't know that. Learning more about the VeVe fam every day. So shout out to My Collectibles. Great. He's a great streamer as well. And much appreciated, man. Thanks for coming in the chat. It's always good to see you and see the OGs in the community. But we'll close it out, and you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And of course, as always, be like an NFT, be authentic, and I will catch you later. Peace.